Hi my loves, so today I am bringing you the mid-year book freakout tag and I am so excited to do this. I have watched these religiously every year. I have watched booktube, sorry, which has been about 6 years now, so I am excited to finally be able to do one and tell people my answer to these questions. So if you're interested, stick around.
I'm so scared of falling down. I just won't climb in the first place.
So the first question is the best book you have read in 2020, so 2021. Wow, I'm like a year behind. Time just is fucked. So yeah, the best book you've read in 2021, and for this, if you know me at all, is going to be A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. I have tabbed the shit out of this book. I loved this book. I was so scared I was not gonna love it because I love Rhysand and Feyre's story, and I was scared stepping out of their narrative was gonna change my opinion, but no, honey. This is face smut. This is everything that I wanted from a face smut. I adored this book, and yeah, this is the best book I've read so far this year. I don't know if anything's gonna top it. Last year, my favourite book of my favourite book of the year was Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood from Sarah J Maas. So yeah, if this is gonna stick this year, then that means it's been like 3 years that I have put Sarah J Maas at the top of my list, so she is killing it for me, and this is really doing it for me. So there's that. The next question is the best sequel you've read this year. So for this, I'm going to go with Snot Girl Volume 3. I don't want to give you too much because I'm scared to get spoilers, but like, I love the artwork in this. The artwork is just so cute. It's so fun and vibrant. The storyline is really good as well. This has evolved into a female-female relationship, which I haven't seen in comic book form in the comic books that I like. So I'm really happy that it's kind of evolved into that. It's also kind of evolved into a supernatural storyline, kind of, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I kind of like the murder mystery plotline, but if they do it right, I think they can really kill it with a supernatural plotline. I like the characters, and I thought this was a really good like sequel or third volume in this series, and I will continue to pick them up. So this is the best sequel I've read this year. Granted, I haven't read much sequels yet because I suck at staying on top of series. It's okay. The next question I have notes, so that's why I'm looking down here. The next question is a new release that you want to read but haven't. I am going to go for In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland. I really want to read this. It's pansexual rep, it's fantasy, I believe it has a poly rep as well, and yeah, so I am going to be reading this in the month of June for whatever-thon, so I'm finally going to get to it. I have had an arc of it for like 3 months now, so I've been dying to pick it up, but I decided to put it off, and I was going to wait until I got a physical copy, but I think I'm not going to do that anymore, and I'm just going to read the ebook version, and if I love it, then I will purchase it. So high hopes, high hopes. The next question is most anticipated release for the second half of 2021. I have a few. Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I read Home Before Dark last year, absolutely loved it, gave it 5 stars. I have even higher hopes for this book now that I know I like the writing style, so yep. And The Woods Are Always Watching, which is Stephanie Perkins. I read There's Someone in Your House, There's Someone in Your Home. There's Someone in Your House. I read There's Someone in Your House by Stephanie Perkins when it came out, and I know that a lot of people felt a little bit let down, especially coming off of YA contemporary romance stories. It's kind of hard to like switch genres like that. I thought it was done really well. I enjoy slasher films, I enjoy horror, and yeah, like this book literally just kind of gave me Scream vibes. I don't know why. I just really enjoyed it. So I have really high hopes for the next horror book that Stephanie Perkins takes out. I have a whole list of books that I am highly anticipating. I made a video, I will link it down below in case you're interested in my big long ass list of all these books that I'm gonna buy and hopefully love. So I will link that down below, or else I will be here all day just listing all the books that I want to read. The biggest disappointment so far this year has to go to The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. I don't have this book physically because I am unhauling it and gifting it to my friend Seffi over at What Effie Reads. They will be linked down below. And yeah, I went into this expecting so much and it just kind of fell flat for me. I don't know why. Yeah, the characters were all right. The setting was great. The setting was like the resounding 3-star factor for me because the setting was phenomenal. I just didn't really care about the characters. I didn't care about the romance, and I didn't really care for the mystery. So like, yeah, it was a little let down. I recommend it if you are looking for vampires, historical fiction, and great setting. I would recommend it. But apart from that, it just fell flat for me and I didn't really like it that much. The biggest surprise, however, was Dear Ava, and I am forgetting the author's name. I will put a picture here so you can see it. And I read this off of the recommendation of Chandler Ainsley, and yeah, like I went in, I didn't read the synopsis, I just seen this on one of our lists, and I went in completely blind and I really enjoyed it. I love a good new adult romance, especially one that has sustenance, and this one really did. There was a storyline that went along with the characters and the romance, and yeah, I ended up going on to read a few of this author's books. Isla Madden Mills? I don't know how to say her first name, but yeah, I went on to read quite a few of her books and all of them were pretty good, but for me, Dear Ava was just the best one of the bunch. The next question is a favourite new to you author, and for this, I'm gonna have to go with Tiffany D Jackson because wow, that woman can write, like, woo. I will read anything that she writes. Give me a piece of paper with her bare bones story and I will still give it 5 stars. So this then leads on to a book that made you cry this year, and I don't cry much at books. I cry all the time. I'm a fucking huge weeper, but I don't cry at books. Like, it takes a lot for me to cry at books. I have cried at 2 books this year. One was Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D Jackson, and this had me, I listened to this on audio and I listened to this at work, and I actually had tears running down my face at work, and no shame, like, there's a part in that book that just hits, and it hits so hard, and I just couldn't, I was like, oof, this book just got me in the feels. So there's that book, and I kind of teared up at a kind of spark because there's kind of an aggressive bully situation that I just felt so sorry for the character, and like I had a little tear in my eye, but they didn't fall. It was just a little, oh. But Monday's Not Coming had me weeping. The next question is my new favourite character, which I do have a book for, surprisingly. And my new favourite character is Poppy from Blood and Ash. I recently read this. I will leave a link down below. I have a whole reading vlog for this and the sequel. The sequel was kind of a disappointment. This, however, was not. This was a 5 stars, and I loved the story, loved the characters, but Poppy. I have needed a fantasy badass woman that just like I don't know how to explain it. Quite a lot in fantasies, the women are like damsels in distress and they fall into that kind of trope. In this book, Poppy just completely kicked ass. I really enjoyed her character. I enjoyed her in a monologue. So she is a character that I am happy to keep following. So the next question is a book that made you happy. And for this, I am going to go with Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I was so scared to pick this up because it had been so long since I read The Mortal Instruments. It had been so long since I read like the Infernal Devices. So I was scared that I wasn't going to have the same feelings or the same vibe with this book. But I loved it, obviously. It made me very happy to return to this world and see Will and Tessa and the characters that I left in the Infernal Devices. I was hesitant for no reason because I gave this a 5 stars and I loved being back in this world, and especially the historical part. I feel like with Cassandra Clare, I prefer her historical Shadowhunter books to her modern day ones. So yeah, I am really happy that I read this, and I plan on reading the sequel in June, so I hope that I have just as much happiness reading the sequel as I did reading the first one. The next question is the prettiest book you've bought. I bought this year I decided to subscribe to Fairy Loot, so I'm so happy because I've been waiting so long and I'm finally gonna get all the pretty stuff that I see on Instagram. So the prettiest book that I bought this year was The Prison Healer, and it doesn't look like much on the cover. The edges are pretty cool, but when you see it naked, it is stunning. Look at this. Look at this artwork. I mean, like the beige and kind of like rose gold-esque foil is just amazing. Like, I love it. I absolutely love it. And then the artwork on the reverse side of the jacket is just as pretty. And yeah, like this is the prettiest book I own. I think it is. I think it's definitely the prettiest book I've bought this year, and I am so excited that I got this because it is fucking beautiful. And I hope the inside is just as pretty and good as the outside. And the last question that I have here is a book you have to read by the end of the year. And for this question, I'm going to say A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kremer. I don't know, like, how do you say this? I am so sorry. I have read a lot of this author's books and I still can't say her name right, which is unfortunate, but like, it's amazing. I have read pretty much everything that Bridget has taken out, and the only thing that I own that I haven't read yet is A Vow So Bold and Deadly. I'm excited to go back and see the story of Harper Grey and see how the world like changes in this final book. And this would close off that trilogy, which means that I would be hitting reading the rest of Bridget books on my shelf and completing the series, and I hope to have a fucking ball of a time. Woo. So that is it. That is my answers to the mid-year book freakout tag. I tag you if you haven't done this. Answer in the comments down below so I can see some of your answers to these questions. I'm always interested in what you're reading and how you're enjoying yourself in your reading life. So yeah, have a great day, a great week, a great weekend, a great life. Stay safe, happy and healthy, and I will see you next time. Ciao.
Pack up my summer in a Ziploc bag. Old maps and tchotchkes, photographs at this that I'll write myself a letter so that I'll remember